So I've been working on Bull Street for quite a while, and obviously throughout that time I've known Chris Pajak and the boys at Redmen TV, and over the years we've done Dortmund in the Europa League, we've done Man City in the Champions League, and now we are doing Liverpool 4, Barcelona 0 in a game that was the Champions League semi-final, second leg. That means that Liverpool from nowhere are now in the Champions League final. Chris, how are you?
I'm alright, mate. I'm tip top. You know what I mean? I'm tip top. Like, it's apparently raining in Liverpool, but all I see is sunshine, mate.
I bet, man.
Honest goodness, like, it's absolutely ridiculous at the moment. I mean, it was the European night at Anfield to stand on the shoulders of all of the other great European nights at this ground. I mean, you know, you say we've done this for Ball Street. Liverpool have beaten Dortmund, they've beaten Roma, they've beaten Barcelona, they've beaten all these incredible sides, but that tops the lot. I mean,
is that does top the lot then for you?
Oh, by a mile, mate. By a mile, like, you know
what I mean?
Why is that? Because it's Barcelona, because it's the greatest player that's ever lived, because they had Luis Suarez and Phil Coutinho, and how we felt after those two guys left us and stuff, and the atmosphere, James, I mean, it was something incredible. And when the game started, right, Luis Suarez was lined up to take the kickoff, and he was lined up for about 30, 40 seconds, and everyone just booed and hissed. And it was to the point where the first 20 minutes, James, was so loud, you couldn't tell what song was being sung. Everybody was just singing a different song, to the point where I felt like I had tinnitus. My ears were ringing. I've never been anywhere so loud in all my life. And I couldn't hear, it was so loud, what was being sung.
How with the Luis Suarez stuff, how has the sort of spell been broken? I was thinking about it, chatting to a mate about it yesterday, and I came to the conclusion that all football fans have this moment. They've all got that guy that you liked, everyone else hated, and then they go off, and then the sort of spell's broken. You go, oh yeah, he is a bit of a knob. Is that how you feel about Luis Suarez now? Not for me, no. I think, you know, he was up there with one of the greatest players that I've ever witnessed play football. But when he's against Liverpool, he's against Liverpool. You know, he wasn't Luis Suarez of Liverpool FC there, who scored 32 goals in a season and ran the league close with Manchester City. He was Luis Suarez, the dirty little from Barcelona. You know what I mean? And I can separate and compartmentalise that. And I think everybody in the ground did. He didn't help himself last week with the celebration, and he didn't help himself by taking the kickoff, and he didn't help himself by injuring Andy Robertson, and he didn't help himself by leaving foot in and shouldering players and all that. And we know what Luis Suarez is. We've always known what Luis Suarez is. But I think one of the things about us as a fan base is that we're willing to back anybody. You know, as long as they're putting their all in for the shirt. But as soon as you're not putting your all in for the shirt, you're nothing to us. And I still love Luis Suarez, but right now he's nothing to us, you know what I mean? And he didn't celebrate at Anfield, did he, mate? And he said he wasn't going. He's had him there, and it's just perfect. That's like the Champions League. It really has, like, it's a competition apart, because I think in a lot of domestic competitions now there is this element of one team's defending for their lives, the other team's trying to break them down. But in the Champions League, especially quarterfinals, semi-finals, you've still got two teams just really going at it. And looking at the performance of that team, because the other thing that you didn't say there is that team's got Suarez and Busquets and Piqué and Messi. This Liverpool team didn't have Firmino or Salah in that side. So for you guys to achieve what you achieved, what was the single most important element in getting the job done last night?
I've said this for a while now, and the biggest thing that this Liverpool side has, above all else, is heart. It's heart, it's determination, it's drive, it's a willingness to succeed, it's fighting for the badge on the front of the shirt and not the name on the back of the shirt. And that all comes from our manager, mate. What is Jurgen Klopp's biggest attribute? It's his heart, it's his personality. He doesn't give up, and it's from the manager down at this football club. You know, you've got players there like Andy Robertson, who's hit the heights this season of, for me, best left back in European football, maybe the world. You've got lads like Divock Origi who've come in, Xherdan Shaqiri, who all have belief and all have faith that they can do something and be a part of something special. And you've got the heart of the fans behind them, cheering and baying for blood and just firing them on to achieve better and greater things. And this is a team, above all else, it's a a team because it's more than the sum of its parts. We might not have the best players in the world. We've got a lot of good players. We've got a lot of world-class players now. But last night we didn't. We did have players who probably wouldn't get into Barcelona's sides. I mean, but we had everything else. And, when you've got everything else and the team's pulling in the right direction, you can achieve the impossible. And with Anfield behind you, those great European nights, this European heritage, you can't give up and you can't count this side out, because no matter what happens, we've shown time and time and time again, if we get an early goal at Anfield, teams, no matter how good they are, no matter how experienced these players are, no matter whether they've got Messi or they haven't, teams can and do crumble under the lights.
Yeah, and if, as you say, when you break down those individuals, if you take them sort of one by one, take Milner out of that team and look at the general reputation of this guy. And it's not, it's not at a Busquets level. It's not at that level. Same with Jordan Henderson. But, same with even someone like Matip in that side. But again, all three were unbelievable last night. Henderson, that is put to bed now, surely, the kind of idea that he's not up to it. Because I think, again, that comes from the heart that's instilled by Klopp. But also sort of the confidence and the lack of fear to just go, almost calmly, just go and press again and again. And that was what was completely needed in that game. You needed Alisson to make a few saves, but you had to keep stepping forward and moving forward, because it wasn't 1 goal or 2 goals, it was 4 goals. Just talk me through the fourth goal as the last thing, because it kind of came... It came out of nowhere. There's been 2 goals this week I've watched. First, the Vincent Kompany goal earlier in the week. Obviously, I'm sure you didn't enjoy that. But watching it as a neutral, I was just like, my jaw just went. And then there's 2 kind of moments with the Liverpool game. First, the sort of back-to-back goals of Wijnaldum. But the fourth goal, what was happening with you in the ground on the fourth goal?
I saw Divock Origi kick the ball into the net. That's all I saw. I knew it was a quick corner because I don't know what I was looking at the time, but I turned around in time to see, and there was so many people that didn't see that goal. But, I've probably watched it, no word of a lie, 100 to 150 times since. And I just laugh every single time I see it, because the way that he just casually walks away and Divock has that little glance over his shoulder and Sent just goes bang. Yeah. And you've got the commentary on BT Sport was probably some of the best commentary I've ever seen. Steve McManaman talking after the fact of how these are world-class footballers in the Champions League semi-final. They've been absolutely done. It was one of the most scouse things ever. It was as cheeky as you're going to get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sent Alexander-Arnold. But not only that, he's seen it. He spied Divock Origi. Divock Origi's seen him. But the ball's perfect. The finish is perfect. You need technical skill and ability to do this. I don't know whether that was changed. I don't know whether it was something that we've had in our locker that you get to use once in your lifetime in a big situation. I know that football teams do this, and I know that Liverpool have got one of these in their locker. I've spoken to someone in the backroom staff who's told me one of them. I'm not going to reveal what that one is. So I know that they do keep things in their back pocket. And I think every football team will do, for that big moment when you need something special. They didn't have a clue what was going on. Ter Stegen was walking out of his goal. Every Barcelona player.
Ter Stegen was going, concentrate. Is
that what he was saying?
That's what I think so. I think that's apparently what he was saying. Was concentrate. But they didn't, did they? And I think that's a great example of. I said it I did a reaction video myself, but it made me think that's why Trent that's the midfielder in him. The vision, that's how he's going to be an incredible number 6 in a few years' time, I reckon. I believe he's got that vision in him. And they know that in him as well. If you can give me one, because I basically went through the whole team last night and was like, he was brilliant. If you have to pick a man of the match, who is it?
Can I give you 3? Because
No, I want one. I do just want one, because I think it's so difficult to do.
Joel Matip. I've never seen a performance like it from a centre-half since Carragher in Istanbul. I mean, Virgil van Dijk rightly gets all the praise, but Joel Matip over the last 5 or 6 weeks has been at his level or maybe even above it. And I feel terrible not giving it to Divock Origi. I feel terrible not giving it to Gini Wijnaldum. I feel terrible not giving it to Alisson or Trent even. But Joel Matip, for me, was a colossus last night. And, you know, a guy that we got in on a free, a guy that I doubted myself at times, thinking he's too passive. He was aggressive when he needed to be, won everything in the air. He didn't let Suarez have a shout. The way that him and Fabinho dealt with Lionel Messi when he was over by them. It was something else. Like, and don't get me wrong, Barcelona had the chances, and Alisson probably makes 5 top draw saves to keep us in the tie. He really does. That's why we spent the money on him. But Joel Matip, man, I just think he was something else. And I know you said one, mate, but Fabinho, the way he picks up a yellow card, for me, it was a perfectly good challenge. And I've not seen it back, I'll be honest with you. He gets the ball, I thought, and he probably goes through Suarez, or Suarez probably dives, I'm not sure. But the way that he continued and he played his natural game, went on a yellow card, went against Lionel Messi, you can't teach that. You can't coach that. That's natural. That's a professionalism above all else.
Yeah, and for him to, because
who was your man of the match, James?
I think to be able to, Fabinho is right up there, just to be able to sort of walk that tightrope of being booked for that long when you've got someone like Messi who's going to be going at you, and he was still able to be on the front foot. But for me, it was all driven by Henderson. And I know, but like people go, oh, look, you've got a thing for him, whatever.
People say the same about me. They call us Jurgen Henderson fan TV.
Right. Well, but the point is that he is a total leader. He has no time for any kind of mental weakness. And he played almost like, he plays like an attacking defensive midfielder, which just works in this team. He was a big part of he nearly got the first goal, didn't he? He got injured. Other players might have not fancied it and gone off, but he just kept going and going and going. And I thought he was superb. Also, it is so tough. I thought Mane didn't get a goal, but he was frightening. He was absolutely frightening for them as well.
He was. And you know what? When his two mates aren't there in Mo and Bobby, and you need him to step up, he was so dangerous. And, you know, whether it was Sergio Roberto when he was on the left-hand side, whether it was Jordi Alba when he was on the right-hand side, they couldn't deal with him and they were worried about him. He created space and he created opportunities, and he was a constant thorn in the sides of Barcelona last night, like they all were. You know, I do a player rating, Sean Redmen, don't I? And I gave probably, you know, all of them 10 out of 10s, apart from maybe Xherdan Shaqiri, which I think I gave him an 8. You know, I think he had a really tough last 15 of the first half, but that's not to say he had a poor game. He just wasn't world class like everybody else. Yeah,
and he's, you know, he's so stocky. I think the intensity of that game when you haven't played that many games is difficult, but he's on the pitch to get those assists. So final thing, as I know you got a lot of very joyful content to be made on Redmen TV today, which I'm sure everyone go and check out. Who do you want in the final?
Probably Ajax.
Right.
I think everybody
get you and Flav together. That'd be lovely.
No, it wouldn't. Everybody knows that I really respect Tottenham and Pochettino, and I know we've had the better of them over the last few times and stuff, and I know they haven't got the European pedigree that we've got and stuff, but I'll be honest, it's just really stressful playing English clubs.
Yeah.
It's just really, really stressful playing English clubs, you know what I mean? And Ajax are a frightening side, you know, attacking wise, the way that they've built that side, you know, 6 years ago they changed the rules in Holland, didn't they, so that they can have second teams lower down in the league and they can get up to Eredivisie 2 and stuff. And this is what we're seeing from that. We're seeing a group of players who've come up together, who've played the same way for 4, 5, 6 years, and now we're seeing the fruits of that labour. And I think, you know, it's probably going to get picked apart, much like Monaco. I think everybody will say that. Did a couple of years ago. So they need to do something this season because it's not going to be the same team. So they're a dangerous, dangerous beast. But, you know, I truly believe that Liverpool are the better side of whoever they play. And with the experience and nous of getting to the final last season and the heartbreaking loss, I just can't see that we're going to be stopped, mate.
Okay. Well, of course, look, you might even just win the title this weekend as well. So it's going to be a busy few weeks. Chris, congratulations, mate. If you want to go check out Redmen TV, then please do. This is probably a good time to do it if you're a Liverpool fan, you haven't checked them out before. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button, subscribe to Bull Street, and we'll see you soon.